Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the conversation. I hope everybody is having a fantastic week. So, to get us started, let's encourage each other's heart. Let's hear from you. Who's out there? Where are you coming in from? I'm back in beautiful Naples, Florida this morning. It's sunshine here, and that means that spring sprung all across the nation, I'm sure. So, let us know where you're coming in from. Who's out there this morning? I hope everyone had a great Easter weekend, and if that's something you celebrate, I hope you had a great time with family and enjoyed that. And if not, I hope you just had a good weekend in general, and everybody's doing well this morning. So, do we have anybody out there? I'm not seeing that chat light up like normal. I hope that's not a sign. Oh, there we go, Patrick. Good to see you, my friend, coming in from Jupiter, Florida this morning, one of my favorite spots, as you know. And I saw a good team picture of several of our former colleagues yesterday over there having a good time. Hey, Robin, good to see you this morning. Knoxville, Tennessee. Go Vols. I think you probably know that I am a volunteer. I went to school there, so beautiful part of the world. Hey, Carrie, good morning. Seeing you from the capital city. That's right. I love it. Angelina, how you doing this morning? Good to see you and Robin Langton and Kat and Beretta. Good seeing you. It was nice to see you in Orlando. I hope you enjoyed your time at Nexpo. And Virginia, good to see you from Lake Mary, beautiful Lake Mary. So keep coming in this morning. Everybody's waking up, getting their coffee. I'm going to take a sip to get me going. Good morning, Daryl. Florence, Alabama, beautiful Florence. Been through there many times. Daryl's always good seeing you on Wednesday morning. Daryl and I go way back for those that don't know. Rebecca, good seeing you from beautiful St. Petersburg. We'll be there later in the week next week. So that's awesome. We've got a great topic this morning, so we're going to jump into it. But before I do, I want you to know that Jim and Jody and I and others have been working hard getting our Capstone agenda together. You know, we've been together 16 weeks, folks. Can you believe it? 16 weeks we've been doing this now, week after week, and I got to tell you, you make my day. You've been wonderful to be with. I've really enjoyed this. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. Not only what we're doing live on Wednesday mornings, but the follow up and people watching it later. And we've got that group page set up now, and that's a reminder for me that I've got to go spend a little time on that today. I love the thought of just building a large collaborative of wonderful leaders, and just couldn't be more blessed to have you guys with us every week. Lori, good morning. Good seeing you this morning as well. So we're working on that capstone. August the 3rd will be the Wednesday before we get into our annual conference. And we're really excited for that agenda. And we'll get more information out on that in the next day or two. But those that are here regularly, count on being asked to participate in that. And I think you're going to find it to be quite rewarding. And we're going to do some great collaboration, have some good speakers there, and we're going to put a bow on this in a very positive way. And our hope is that we continue this after this series and just keep this conversation going, because I think it's a productive conversation. I hope you agree. All right, so before we get into this content, let me just tell you, I've been reflecting on this discussion today. What we're talking about is the good sense of keeping talent dense, right? And of all the things that we're going to probably talk about, from my point of view, this is going to be one of the most important topics. As I've transitioned out of being an executive, building teams and helping individuals think about how to be high performing and how we bring the individual performance together collectively to create impact as a team. And as I've moved over into more of an advisement role, working with CEOs and other senior leaders about how to activate their organization to be competitive, to be able to win in the marketplace. Hey, Christine, good to see you. This issue of talent is at the tip of the spear in every one of those conversations. And I got to tell you, dense talent is paramount to winning. It's paramount to being able to fulfill the promise of what your business mission is and the vision you have for that business. You just cannot do it without the right people around you. And to be honest, it's not only challenging, frankly, what I'm finding is quite rare. but everyone's chasing it, right? To be honest, and in the last year, even more so than ever, as the pandemic has set in, people's culturally, people have changed their attitude about work, about what they view as important in their life. So, getting people to really lean in and focus on their profession. There's been a lot of distractions. Let's be honest. You've heard a lot about the Great Resignation and how individuals are reassessing their priorities and moving, that work piece is moving down the list a little bit around their values, or at least they're having to share that with other life priorities. So for you out there, I just want to say, I clearly appreciate you being here every week, but my recommendation is to really work hard at self-improvement and that real self-care piece we've been talking about. My strong advice is to put your well-being and your personal development at the top of the list, along with your family, friends, and for some of us, our faith, but also establish a personal board of directors. We talk about, put some people around you that'll be honest with you and help you really think. Talent, your equity as an individual has never been more valuable than it is right now. And many of you on this call are an example of what we're talking about. And I say many, I say all of you, because you are here trying to learn. You're here to collaborate. You're here to meet other people. Hey, John, you are doing what I hope many people in the marketplace are doing today. But I'll promise you right now, your equity is valuable. It's going to continue to get more valuable. And the more that you're able to develop skills in alignment with the current marketplace, the more you're going to be rewarded, and your rewards are going to be great. So this conversation about density and talent is going to be one of our best conversations. So let's jump into it. So where did this concept come from? Talent density in the workplace, the idea really is starting to get a lot of attention across the board, right? And it's about retaining an abundance of top talent versus mediocre or adequate performers, right? This came out of and was kind of introduced by Netflix co-founder and author of No Rules Rules. If you've not read that book, I have found that book to be a good roadmap for kind of the current environment. It may be getting a little bit of age on it now. And, Netflix has been in the news in the last week or two about the challenge of continuing to keep their subscriber base up. And they're reevaluating their business model. But those are natural evolutions of any business. But I think this book lays out some pretty cool tips and how they thought about when they were doing a startup and growing. I mean, we all kind of keep a little bit of a startup mentality, no matter how mature our business may be. But anyway, he came to this after the dot-com crash in 2001. Him and his team wrote a book about this because they had to cut a third of their 120-member team at the time. Think about that. 120 members were made up of what was Netflix at the time, 2001. So how did he decide whom to cut? That's kind of one of the key questions. And this is what brought in this question of density, not just talent, but dense talent, right? But classifying his employees according to their performance, their creativity, and their collaborative skills. I think that's intriguing, adding the collaborative skills at the end. All boats rise on a rising tide, right? So, you think about it. He kept the top 2/3 and let 40 go. Think about that impact on a culture or company, right? But to his surprise, workplace productivity improved dramatically in the weeks that followed. As renewed energy, good morning, Lexi, as renewed energy, ideas, and passion flowed more freely. Think about that. They unlocked the potential when that talent that was remaining was really dense, and they leaned in on a mission, and they knew it was up to them to get them through this tough patch, right? So what changed? Why did morale improve and energy and ideas find fresh spark in people who had just lost a third of their colleagues? I mean, think about the impact of what that must have felt like. Although an unexpected consequence, Hastings credited positive motivational shift in his organization to the decision to retain the higher talent density. Good morning, Nicole. Talent is a tenant in the house of genius. I love that quote. That's Austin O'Malley. He's an author. But he said, talent is the tenant in the house owned by genius. Boy, if that doesn't put a premium on talent, nothing does. But too many companies settle for below average performers far too long. We've all done it, right? Admit it. Some of you are doing it right now, I promise you. Ever heard, we're better. Well, this is better than nothing, right? The fear that we won't be allowed to replace, or moreover, if we're allowed to replace, we really won't be able to attract anyone. I've learned that the second concern about not being able to hire, and I know it's out there a lot, it's in a lot of industries. Trust me, several of my clients are struggling with this too. But I'm finding it's more prevalent in mature industries and businesses like the media business, like we've been accustomed to, many of us. But in doing so, they lose a lot of productivity. They stifle creativity and collaboration, and they slow down growth. When you do this, you unintentionally reward mediocrity. I mean, that's just a fact, right? We've all talked about that many times, I'm sure, in your business. I know we talked about it in our offices, and we all know that when we do that, it's not lost on our higher performers. People realize that, right? By releasing lower performers or lifting average employees to a higher performance level, you create an environment of excellence in which top talent team members can achieve higher levels of success overall. It's just an environmental aspect of how that works, right? It feeds off itself. Studies have shown that even one or two merely adequate performers on a team of great talent negatively impacts overall performance of the entire team. So think about that. Just allowing one or two to the greater team to pull one or two along in their performance journey stifles the entire team. So some of these negatives include, let's think about it, a reduction in ideation and group discussions. Think about how important thinking is today, time to think. Mediocrity, HJ says, mediocrity is for those that have lost sight of greatness. Love that quote. The second thing this does is it creates inefficiencies in getting things done. People are distracted. They're not motivated. They feel they're being held back. As individuals, what we get up, how we want to contribute every day, we feel like we're not getting the maximum opportunity to express that creativity if we're not surrounded by people with equal motivation and intent. And then we're slower completion times on tasks for all of the same reasons. Yeah, that's true. Robin says that's so true. It drags down the whole team. We've talked about that over the years, haven't we? So in workplaces where adequate performers outnumber great talent, the highly talented team members become frustrated, under-challenged, and ultimately leave for better opportunities. I've told many people in my teams over the years, if you're not satisfied with the culture, I got to tell the story. If you're not satisfied with the culture, I used to go around, even ask other publishers that were part of my group, how do you feel about your team? How do you feel about your culture? How do you feel about those things? And, I passionately listen and compassionately listen to what they're saying. Oftentimes I'd tell them, go stare in the mirror for a little while, because here's the one truth of leadership. If the people you're leading and inspiring are not representing or reflecting what you would expect, they're mirroring you. Many times they're mirroring they know your attitude, your personality, they know your moods, they know all these things sometimes better than we do. So you're going to find a lot of times they're parroting you. So really analyze that, where that disconnect is between what you desire and what you're seeing in those groups. See what your role is. Ask them. Remember, we talked about being vulnerable, being transparent. Ask them to come together with you as a collective team around how to move all people ahead, and then just don't settle for anyone dragging that back. You got to make the tough decisions sometimes. If people, and I got to tell you, the best leaders I've seen, that's not a negative, that's a positive. When you're able to help people see, one, you don't fit, you may not have the skills aligned to the job. Remember, alignment is vital in all this. We talk a lot about alignment, right? But alignment's vital. If people are cast in a job or whatever, your ultimate role as a leader is to find them a better fit, right? And if that means outside of your organization, they see that, they choose to do that, that's not a negative. That's actually an ultimate positive and a high compliment for you. High performers drive one another and are often motivated by the common purpose beyond financial gain. That is huge. Frequently, They are change agents. Wow. We've been talking a little bit about change agents, haven't we? Ha! And you are all now change agents. That's where we worked through that journey. And you are now at the tip of the spear of leading that. And that puts you in this category, right? And leaders looking to make a difference in a world where they see only opportunity. Team, I got to tell you, man, opportunity abounds out there. Right now, there is so much opportunity. Go grab it. Grab it by the neck and capitalize on it. So what can we learn from this concept about talent density? And I must warn you, I love this what's coming up here. So, but I don't. So don't forget this: hire followers to add growth. I mean, that's really interesting. Hire followers to add growth. You want to grow, so go hire some people that'll follow you and get behind you and everything. That's not the point. Hire leaders to multiply growth. Somebody asked on our call the other day, is it important for leaders to build other leaders? I tell you what, that right there nails it to the wall, right? Hire leaders to multiply growth. You're not just additive. This is multiply. Hire leaders, build leaders. Are you confident enough to hire leaders? Is your culture such that you can nurture leaders and inspire and keep them engaged and challenged? Jeff Fried, he was on this call the other day. Great talent begets great talent. Yes, it does. Smart, capable individuals have the potential to attract their smart, capable peers. Spot on, Jeff. Spot on. It's a culture that feeds upon itself. It's an environment that feeds upon itself. We're trying to create that environment. Additionally, top talent should not be undervalued nor under-rewarded. They should be retained. Companies only perform as well as the people who comprise them. I've often said people start blaming the company. I used to have a culture that said, no, who's the company? The company is a collection of all of us. Who specifically are you talking about? Try that sometimes. Boy, it changes the mood, the narrative, and everything. It breaks it down to what really is important. Zig Ziglar used to say, I think I told you that story about Zig Ziglar said one time, met a lady, got her to tell him all the things she hated. It was a list of about 20 things she loved, 5 things she didn't. He saw her a few months later and he said, how's it going down there? She said, you just won't believe how those people have changed. Think about that for a minute. Right? Higher performers drive cultural change by consistently performing, continually developing new methods and processes, and instilling the urge for excellence. The urge for excellence. We want excellence. We have an urge for excellence, and they should be competitively compensated, recognized, and rewarded for their contributions, and therefore be retained. One of the things that Netflix does that you likely will not be able to do, and maybe have to have others involved in this, but they pay at top of market, right? And they adjust that pay on an annual basis. It's not just against your performance, against raises. This is the market. They want the best talent, and they're going to pay what they have to get that talent. Then it's up to the talent to contribute. But in doing so, they're equally relentless on performance. That's the piece you can't miss. They pay as if everyone is performing, contributing to their fullest, because if they aren't, they're not going to be there long. Could you and your organization hold up to this level of expectation? I guess that's a good question we should all ask ourselves. Remember, this is much more than talk, and it's certainly not just aspirational. This is real when it comes to driving a business forward. Can you lead a dense team of talent? There is no future in any job. I love this quote. This was George Crane, who happened to be a syndicated newspaper columnist. He said, there is no future in any job. The future lies in the man or woman who holds the job. That, to me, nails it. Culture matters. Well said. Thank you, Huck. That sums up why high talent density is so important to a company's culture. So here's what we're going to talk about. Companies with high talent density consistently outperform others with higher productivity levels. 1. 2, they continuously promote innovation and affect change. Great talent attracts more talent. Just what Jeff was saying. Great talent attracts more talent, while mediocre talent makes mediocre companies. Oh, I love that. We don't want to be racing toward mediocrity, right? Talent dense companies have high workplace satisfaction levels. Creativity and innovation are encouraged, and individuals are given the freedom to individually and collectively strive and thrive. A person born with a talent that they are meant to use will find their greatest happiness in using it. Wolfgang von Goethe. Think about that. A person born with a talent that they're meant to use will find their greatest satisfaction in using it. So at Netflix, one of the things they learned was that a company that with real talent density is a company everyone wants to work for. High performers especially thrive in environments where overall talent density is high. How can you increase talent density and create a dream team that you want to have? We're going to run through this real quick. Place appropriate value and priority on top talent when hiring. Vital. Employ a rigorous evaluation process that ensures candidates are a good fit beyond just their skills. Don't miss that. Maxwell said, talent is a gift, but character is a choice. So make sure values also align. Identify and develop adequate team members who have the potential to become top performers. Okay. Regularly recognize and reward attitude, performance, collaboration, and innovation. And finally, address low performers who are negatively impacting the team and remove those team members if their performance cannot be improved. But remember, my preference is create an environment where they come to that realization today. My takeaway, the more talent density you have, the less process you need. The more process you create, the less talent you will retain. Okay, my quote this week is companies rarely die from moving too fast, but they frequently die from moving too slow. That's Reed Hastings. Okay, team, this has been great. I hope you've enjoyed it. This week, we're going to give away another book on essentialism, and we're going to buy a book, No Rules Rules, by Reed Hastings, the one I've been referring to, and Rebecca Logley is going to win that. Thank you for joining us every week. We really appreciate it, Rebecca. Congratulations. I hope you all got a lot out of this. Next week, we're going to continue this conversation, and we're going to talk about aligning talent to strategy. Very, very important to put people in the right positions. We just hit on that some. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. And in the meantime, what? Lead on.